What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Got a really exciting video for you guys today. I'm sure you already saw the title, so you already know what it is. But I just got this package from Maxpeedingrods. They actually reached out to me and wanted me to try out one of their products. So I went ahead and told them I want your GT3582 turbo. So they sent it out, no problem, super quick with it. I'm going to go ahead and unbox this for you guys, show you what's in the box, go over some of the features, and then go over the plans for the SI coming up when we're going to boost it. Alright guys, so starting off, we have this from Maxpeedingrods. Pretty much just giving you an overview of what they're all about. We got some gaskets here. We got a 4-bolt gasket for the downpipe, and then we got this T3 universal gasket here. Looks like some stuff for the oil line fittings. But let's dig in and see this turbo. Oh, that's just packing stuff. Woo! Oh my gosh. All right, this thing is heavy. But it looks like it's packaged pretty decent. So we're gonna go ahead and unwrap it and I'll show you guys what it looks like. All right, so thankfully they ship it with these covers on here. So we got this cover here for the anti-surge housing. Let's take a look. Oh my gosh, we got a 4-inch inlet on that thing. Anti-surge holes here. Some people run no blow-off valve, and this does the trick to where it doesn't damage the turbo. I'm probably going to run a blow-off valve anyways, but we'll see. I just want to try and prolong the life of the turbo if possible. And then we got this cover here. So we got we have a 4-inch inlet here, and then we have a 2.5-inch inlet for the intercooler piping. That's going to go on there. And then on the back end here, hold on, first let's see. This is their shaft wheel, spins super nice. This is a journal bearing turbo, or a wet float bearing as they call it. There's no shaft play, well, very, very minimal. You're always gonna have a little bit of shaft play, but that absolutely spins so nicely. Blades look like they're really good quality. I'm gonna put up the specs of the inducer and exducer of the compressor blade here and all of the specs for the inlet and outlet. And then it looks like we got a feed here. This is for the wastegate connects to it, or I'm not sure exactly. I'll figure that out as we go. And then here on our turbine side, it has a 4-bolt flange. Like I said, it came with that gasket. There's the turbine right there. I'll put the inducer and exducer sizes for that as well. So this is a T3 turbo. Everything looks really great quality, to be honest. I'm very surprised. I have to say this looks like it's going to be a great turbo to start out. So this turbo is self-produced by Maxpeedingrods in their own factory, and they have warehouses in the US as well where they ship everything out. They got this to me in about 2 to 3 days. Pretty much the specs of this turbocharger is that it should be good for 600 horsepower. I don't plan on running that much on the SI. But it's still going to hold up to it no matter what. Probably going to run 10 pounds or so to start off, and it should be completely fine. Also, if any of you guys have any factory turbo cars, Maxpeedingrods makes a ton of different upgrades for your factory turbos, and these are going to put out a lot more power and can be a lot more durable than the factory ones, especially running higher PSI and high horsepower levels. So as you guys can see, it looks like we have, I guess, oil and cooling on this turbo. I'm gonna have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure you can run coolant lines to it as well. Oh yeah, so we got, I think that's oil feed in return, and then there are lines where you can put coolant in there as well. I'm probably just gonna run oil cooled because I think that should be sufficient for the kind of power I'm gonna be pushing. I have to say I'm super impressed with this turbo's quality. So it looks like they tightened down all these bolts and marked them off and everything. Looks like they have really great quality control coming from their factory, so really appreciate that. Thanks to them for sending this out. The main thing about this turbo is it is very, very affordable for the kind of performance you can get out of it. So they are going to have a link that you guys can click on. I'm going to put that down in the description, and I should have a code I can give you guys to get you a little bit more money off, hopefully. But either way, check out that link. They have all kinds of turbos for all kinds of different cars. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and go over my build list so far. I've never turboed a car before, but I went ahead and went to the drawing board, found some products, did some research, what I think is going to be best. I think we should be able to get a budget turbo kit for about $3 grand, maybe A little bit more, a little bit less, but I'll go ahead and go over everything real quick with you guys. Alright guys, here's the spec list right now. This is just starting off just to get the car boosted. So I know the fuel system is not going to be proper. You want to run a return line, but anyways, we're going to start off. I'm going to have my RDX injectors modified. That'll turn them into 850 cc's, which should be enough. It's only 75 bucks, so we're going to try it out rather than spending $300-400 on injectors. Deutschwerks 300 fuel pump, Deutschwerks, whatever. 190 bucks. I'm going to also wire a relay into that. Next up, we have the PLM Ramhorn turbo manifold. That's pretty much the cheapest turbo manifold I could find for 600 bucks. Cheapest good quality manifold, I should say. Next up, you have to go with a real wastegate. I've heard that you have a lot of overboosting issues and the wastegate will get stuck open if you get a cheap one. So we went ahead and put a tile on here. About 400 bucks for that. Probably run 10 psi on wastegate to start out. Next up, we have the Speedfactory 800 horsepower vertical intercooler for $480. That looks like a really good intercooler for turning up the boost in the future if I want to. There's no point getting anything cheaper than that because that's still really affordable for an intercooler. Then we have the Go AutoWorks cold side piping kit. They do make a cold side piping kit for vertical intercoolers. It's only 300 bucks. Comes with the IAT sensor bung, comes with a blow-off valve flange already welded on. Don't got to worry about having anyone do any custom work like that. Next up, we have custom hot side piping. I might do this myself, or I could have a shop do it. Hopefully it's around $350 or so. I can't see it being too much more than that, since I already have the cold side piping done. Next up, we have the TurboSmart Raceport blow-off valve. Reason I chose this, it's really compact, and Go AutoWorks is already going to weld a flange on there for me. 290. You want to make sure you get a solid blow-off valve. That way you don't have any boost creep issues or boost leaks, because the eBay ones tend to leak. Next up, we're going to convert the mass airflow sensor to an IAT sensor. Some people will just run the mass airflow plugged in and hanging in the engine bay. I'm personally not going to do that, so I'm going to splice into those wires and then put in an IAT sensor from OBD1, and that'll run me about 50 bucks. Next, we have the PLM oil pressure switch adapter for 30 bucks. What that's going to do is it lets you going to run a oil feed line to the turbo on one side, and then you can run an oil pressure gauge into the other side, and it screws on to the block, and then the oil pressure sensor screws onto that. Next up, whenever you boost a car, you got to get an upgraded map sensor. So I'm going to get the Hondata 4-bar map sensor for 100 bucks. I love Hondata. I use Hondata every single day when I'm tuning customers' cars. So no reason to go with anyone else than them. 100 bucks for that. Can't be too bad. Next up, we're going to do a 10 a.m. return bung. I'm going to do one where you just drill a hole into the oil pan, and then there's going to be a nut that you tighten down. I'm not going to do the weld on. I'm just going to hit it with some RTV on the outside. Hopefully that's okay and it doesn't leak. Never done this before. You guys can put your opinions down in the comments if you've had experience with that. Should be all right though. And then we got an oil feed and return kit. That's just a universal kit for 50 bucks for the GT35. Hopefully that should work. I know I'm gonna need some other stuff. If you guys see anything that I'm missing, go ahead and drop it in the comments for me. I'd really appreciate that. I definitely don't want to run any more than 10 psi. That should put me between 350 to 380 wheel horsepower, just because without a fuel return system, anything over 10 psi, your fuel pressure drops like crazy. It's already going to be dropping down to like 45 with all that boost. Quick update, I forgot that I'm going to have a custom downpipe and wastegate dump made. Hopefully I can get that done for around 500. I don't know, I haven't gotten any quotes yet. Let me know what you guys have paid for that if you have. And also another one, we're going to go ahead and delete this right here. And we are going to delete this right here. We're actually just going to run no blow-off valve. We're going to see how it does. That'll save me some money. I'll just do full custom piping. That way I won't have to pay someone to weld the flanges on for the cold side. We're going to run no blow-off valve, and we're going to see how this turbo holds up. It should hold up pretty well, but only time will tell. You guys can go crazy in the comments if you want, but I personally think with the anti-surge housing, we should be fine. Alright guys, that should do it. So let me know what you guys think of the build list. Thank you guys for watching if you made it all the way through. Make sure to drop a like for me and subscribe. Other than that, stay tuned for all the boost content I'm going to have coming up. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty slow process. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good one.